Stop smoking weed all the time. The reason people use weed or they justify their weed use is, oh, it helps me relax. You get to a point where you realize it's a pseudo relaxation. It's a fake relaxation. This is exactly what I'm talking about. I call this the addiction cycle. This is a variation of the addiction cycle. You smoke the weed, you fuck up your sleep, and you feel like shit the next day. So then you crave weed to feel less shit. You literally get to a point where you are smoking just to feel like average. It makes doom scrolling feel a lot better. It makes eating sugar feel a lot better. It makes watching porn feel a lot better. All these things that we want to quit and that we want to get rid of, weed does the opposite. It amplifies it. All right, what's up, guys? Stop smoking weed. Stop smoking weed all the time. I put here pseudo relaxation in all caps because the reason people use weed or they justify their weed use is, oh, it helps me relax, it helps me calm down. And yeah, obviously that's true, but you get to a point where you realize it's a pseudo relaxation. It's a fake relaxation. You're not really relaxed. You're just kind of numbing yourself. You're just kind of putting a sort of fog over yourself and over your brain. You're not really aware of what's going on, and that's what people want. But at the end of the day, you're just numbing yourself. I put that here somewhere. You're just numbing yourself. You're just escaping from your problems. You're not actually solving anything. You're not actually helping anything. Obviously, if you have chronic pain and stuff, that's different. But I'm talking about for the average recreational weed smoker. You're just running away from your problems. You're not actually relaxing yourself. You get to a point where you're just kind of doing it just to do it. I got to a point where I was already doing, all these healthy habits, meditating and yoga in the morning and exercise and just really doing my best to keep stress low and anxiety low, and it was working. And it's I feel good just on my own, just doing breath work, just going outside, just the shit that I always talk about, right? I feel good doing all these things. Then you have this substance that gives you this fake relaxation. Your brain kind of gets used to it, and you're just do that relaxation in this way, take the gummy or whatever, smoke the joint, and it's you do that, and then you feel wait a minute, I felt better before, right? When you start getting to that point of I felt better before I did this, that's how you know you've changed. That's how you know your brain is rewiring. And speaking of your brain, when you're smoking weed all the time, even just one time, but especially if you're doing it chronically, meaning 4 or 5 days a week or more, it's literally fucking up your sleep. It blocks REM sleep, rapid eye movement sleep. REM sleep is for memory processing, for emotional processing in the brain. And if you're a guy, this is when we get peak testosterone production. So you're literally giving yourself less testosterone. We already have a crisis of low T in guys nowadays. Gen Z guys have low T because of lifestyle. This is part of the shitty lifestyle that most of us Gen Z guys are living. Smoke weed all the time, fucking up your sleep. Your body's not able to process things. You're not able to get peak testosterone production. So you're literally getting lower T. And then for me, I noticed, and a lot of other people noticed this as well, you wake up with less drive, less focus, less motivation, less discipline. Your brain literally, it's your brain isn't fully online. You wake up and you're awake, but there's a part of your brain that is just still off. You're not really fully aware. It's when you're walking around and you're just half asleep, you're just kind of in a daze, you're going through the motions, stuff. Physically you're there, but mentally you're not there. That's exactly what this is. And when you're doing that every single day, you're going to sleep with that every single day, that's how you wake up. And I put here no aura. You literally have no aura, because aura comes from your confidence, comes from your energy, comes from that swagger in your step, you're walking with your chest up, head held high, shoulders back, good posture. You're feeling good. I'm feeling good right now. I just woke up and I used the bathroom. Let me record this video. I have a lot of energy because I slept clean. I actually got testosterone production and good REM sleep, good memory processing and everything. And I feel a lot better now because I allowed my body to go into that deep sleep and get the rest and recovery that it needs. But again, this goes back to the pseudo relaxation. It's a fake relaxation. People say, oh, it helps me sleep. It helps you fall asleep and it helps you stay asleep, which could be good if you're an insomniac. But again, for the average person, you don't really need that. You need to actually get real good quality sleep, and weed lowers your quality of sleep by a lot, especially if you're doing it chronically, especially if you're doing it almost every day or every day. And that's why you need to stop. Now you're becoming dependent on the weed to sleep because you're retraining, you're reprogramming your brain to need this substance in order to help you fall asleep. But subsequently, that is fucking up your sleep. So you feel like you need it more because you're walking through every day feeling tired, feeling like shit, having no aura, right? Having no focus, having no discipline. So you're just feeling shitty. You're living an even shittier lifestyle during the day because you're not as productive. You're probably eating worse. You're probably not doing your exercise because you just feel naturally more lazy. And so then that leads you to do the weed again. It all becomes nighttime again. Oh, let's just take another gummy or something. Let's just do something else, right? And then you fuck up your sleep again and you just start the cycle over again the next day. So if you see here just this quick diagram, this is exactly what I'm talking about. I call this the addiction cycle. This is a variation of the addiction cycle. You smoke the weed, then you fuck up your sleep, and you feel like shit the next day. So then you crave weed to feel less shit. Notice how I didn't say to feel good. If you watch the previous video where I talked about the dopamine binge and crash cycle, how eventually when your tolerance goes up, really it's just you're not getting as much dopamine as before. You're not getting as much pleasure as before. Eventually you get to a point where your baseline dopamine is so low, you're not actually smoking in order to feel good anymore. You're just trying to get back to baseline. You're just trying to stop feeling like shit. You literally get to a point where you are smoking just to feel like average, like you can't function properly without it because you've reprogrammed your mind over time, over doing this so much that you need it to sleep, you need it to function, you need it to just do shit. And when that happens, then you get to here, you start feeling stagnant. Every day is just the same cycle. Every day is just the same cycle. You're stagnant. And then honestly, you feel low-key depressed. Like I got to a point where I was just kind of doing the same thing every day. Same cycle every day, same thoughts every day, same feeling tired, brain turned off, no aura, like no confidence down here, just going through the motions, physically there, not mentally there, feeling like shit, and then craving, a hit just to like not feel so shit. And just to escape, just to numb myself, right? We're not actually solving any problems. We're just numbing ourselves. And again, this whole cycle, this whole feeling stagnant and everything, this fries your dopamine receptors. And so again, you can't enjoy things without weed, like I said. And so you're developing a dependency on the substance, also known as an addiction. Not only are you also developing an addiction and a dependency on it, but it puts you on a slippery slope in regards to other vices, other bad habits. Like again, it makes it so much easier to procrastinate and just be lazy and not be productive, not do anything. Because again, mentally your like brain is half turned off, like you're not even fully aware of what's going on. Also, when you are high, it's going to amplify things that feel good, right? Food, music, watching videos, playing games, socializing, anything, whatever feels good, weed is going to amplify it by like 2 times, 3 times. So this puts you on a slippery slope because especially if you're by yourself, if you've struggled with some of the same things that I have struggled with and that I have talked about in the past, it makes doom scrolling feel a lot better. It makes eating sugar feel a lot better. It makes watching porn feel a lot better. All these things that we want to quit and that we want to get rid of, weed like does the opposite. It amplifies it. Remember I said it's the pseudo relaxation, puts this kind of brain fog over you. Well, part of that fog, that numbingness, is that you're numbing out your higher self, your higher voice, your better judgment. Basically, you're blocking out your better judgment and you're just saying like, oh, fuck it, whatever. Like you're getting into that like fuck it mode where you're just, you shouldn't be doing this, but you're, smoking enough or you're taking enough to like block out your better judgment so you can just kind of do it without feeling shame or guilt. So you can just indulge in the vices, in the bad habits, and just nuke your dopamine receptors with a flood of chemicals without feeling bad about it. But you will feel bad. You'll feel bad the next day, right? You'll feel like shit the next day, which is why you end up craving more. And then you get into the addiction cycle. And again, when you keep saying that you're gonna like quit porn, you're gonna eat better, you're gonna do all this stuff, and then you just keep on not doing it, again, it kills confidence. That's why I circled those stuff. When you're smoking weed all the time, you kill your confidence, right? You're low-key depressed, you have no aura. I don't know anybody who is really living their best life and is also constantly smoking weed. Like, I'm sure there are some people out there that can do that, but for the average recreational person who is a stoner, who is a chronic weed smoker, they're just sitting on their ass like doing nothing all day. It's like you'll be watching TV thinking you're going through some profound experience and you're like really seeing things from a different perspective or whatever. It's like, no, you're just high as fuck and you're watching TV or you're doom scrolling Instagram reels. Like, it's not that deep, you know? And again, this just goes back to the whole point that I've been making the entire time. You're not actually solving any problems. You're not actually doing anything. You're just numbing yourself. You're just running away from shit. It helps you relax because it helps distract you from your problems. It's like a Band-Aid solution. You're not actually solving anything. You're just like ignoring it, basically. You're not facing your demons, right? Everybody talks about, oh, I'm fighting demons right now, bro. I'm fighting my inner demons. So like, we want to face our demons and cast them out, right? Like in the Bible, face your demons and cast them out. We don't want to be controlled by these things. We don't want to keep running away from these things. And for me, all the times I've been the most locked in, especially the past few years, are the times when I have quit weed. I don't know if you can see that, I underlined it. But every time I'm just like fully sober, that's the times when I am in a flow state. I'm productive as fuck. I'm consistent. I'm disciplined. And discipline and willpower becomes easy because I actually sleep well. I actually have good like mental focus and clarity. I actually know what I want and I actually can go for it and I can actually take action. And I can actually sit there and not just numb myself and distract myself, because that's what weed does. It slows you down. It's supposed to slow you down. Every once in a while, sure, that's fine. You can indulge in that. But when you're doing that all the time, it's like this, when you get into that stagnant feeling, that's when you get stuck in the loop. And that's when you feel depressed. That's when you feel no confidence. Over time, you become more docile, more passive, because weed is supposed to slow you down. But you feel less masculine, like you just do. Like I said, your testosterone literally goes down. Your testosterone is down. Your focus is down. Your discipline is down. Your confidence, your aura is down. You're low-key depressed because you're just reliant on some fucking substance just to feel somewhat happy, somewhat normal. It's like, you do just feel less masculine. I've experienced this. A lot of guys have experienced this. And then all these guys who've quit, like, watch other videos about guys who've quit, like, they'll say the same things as me. It's like, you feel like a god. You feel like you're in a flow state. You're no longer reliant on external things to feel happy. You can actually be happy again. Your baseline dopamine can rise again. You can just get joy from real life, from accomplishing goals, from working hard, from creating content like I'm doing now, from like building a brand. And it's a beautiful thing when you can actually just like go outside. You get that childlike joy back, because when we were kids, we weren't fucking smoking, we weren't drinking, we weren't doom scrolling. Maybe the kids now are, but I was born in 1998. So like growing up in the 2000s, we weren't doing that. Like, we were actually going outside. You know, we would watch our cartoons, play PS2, but like we're actually going outside, playing like in the sunshine, just having fun. Like, you just have that childlike joy again when you quit all this stuff and when you get rid of it, because you're no longer dependent on some external substance to make you happy. You're breaking free of this fucking loop, because we don't want to be stuck in a loop. We don't want to be stagnant. That's how you go through an entire year and you don't accomplish goals. That's how I went through all of last year, and I actually ended up gaining weight, even though I was supposed to be on a cut, because I was stuck in the cycle and I was just living the same day every day, and I was indulging too much in high calorie foods, in sugary sweet foods, because the weed amplified it and made it taste better. And it's like, then now I have to work extra hard and be extra disciplined and eat even less calories to like melt off the extra fat that I put on and then continue on my journey. But being sober, being clear-minded makes it easier, because it makes it easier to focus, makes it easier to stay disciplined, makes it easier to get shit done. Okay, so that is just a quick video. I try to keep it quick on why you should stop smoking weed. At the very least, stop doing it chronically. Save it for special occasions. Save it for when you're hanging out with your friends. Save it like a few times a year. You know what I mean? Like, it's a once in a blue moon kind of thing. Not something you should be doing often, especially if you have goals you want to accomplish. You want to improve your life. You want to improve your physique. You want to improve your finances. You want to improve your mental health, especially if you want to improve your mental health. People say weed helps with their mental health. No, it doesn't. It makes it worse. Again, it's a pseudo relaxation. It actually makes your problems worse because you're just running away from it. And a lot of times weed can make you more paranoid and cause you more anxiety. So thank you for watching once again. Hope you all have a wonderful day, and I'll talk to you next time.